So as most of you guys probably know, the Portland Trail Blazers have 2 picks in the lottery, pick 7 and pick 14. Will they keep both these picks? I'm not sure. They might trade up. They might do all these different type of things. We're really not too sure what's going to be happening here. But for today's video, we're going to be selecting at 7 and 14, which is really fun and a really awesome sight to know that Portland are going to continue to add to this really good and hopeful young core of Scoot Henderson, Shaedon Sharpe, etc. Again, I highly recommend you guys go and check out my official 2024 NBA mock draft, which will be getting linked in the description down below. That way, if you guys are wondering why I didn't take a certain player with both these picks, it might just be because I have already taken that player or two to a different team with a much higher pick and whatnot. So I definitely recommend going and checking out that video just so you guys are all up to date and whatnot. But I guess without further ado, here's who I think Portland should select with the 7th overall pick and the 14th overall pick in the 2024 NBA draft. Now, with the 7th overall pick, we do have the Portland Trail Blazers, and I actually have them selecting a player who I think could be one of the best in the draft, and that is actually going to be Cody Williams out of Colorado, a 6'8" forward whose stats don't necessarily paint the picture. He only averaged 12 points per game, but this is a guy who people say has that raw potential to, if he does show out in the, again, interviews and the workouts, could find himself being a top 5 pick very easily. He is being compared to a bit of Paul George and Jalen Williams as we do speak. He's a very, very good two-way player, and I think that's the thing that people forget is, look, his offense isn't 100% there just yet, but his defense is absolutely insane. This dude is a 6'9" guy, 6'8", 6'9" guy who can guard, shooting guard, all the way to the power forward position. The Portland Trail Blazers are obviously looking for a forward or two, I would think, after taking Scoot Henderson with their top pick last year, already having Anthony Simons and Shaedon Sharpe as their other guards. They're a bit lower on that forward position. Again, you got Jeremy Grant, that power forward position. Who knows how much longer he will, of course, be with the Portland Trail Blazers. But I think they're going to be looking for a small forward next season. Again, Sharpe might play there temporarily because obviously he's too talented now to be coming off the bench, it does seem. But they're going to be looking for that more natural small forward where I think Cody Williams is, of course, going to come into all of this. Again, ranked number 7 overall by Fanspo and number 11 by ESPN. It's being said that Cody Williams has the potential to be one of the most versatile two-way players in the whole entire NBA. He is oozing with potential as a shot creator, passer, and defender. He has some glaring weaknesses though, unfortunately. Off-ball defense isn't the greatest thing at all. He's not exactly too assertive with the ball. And again, his IQ might definitely need to develop. But as this guy gets older and as more game time comes for Cody Williams, this is a man who I think could be very, very good for this Portland Trail Blazers team. Again, he is the type of guy though that is going to be a project, but we know this, right? And the Portland Trail Blazers, they are going to know this. They, I think as well, are excited to take on those type of players. I mean, Scoot Henderson, I really hated the disrespect that he got throughout the whole entire season, being called the worst player in the NBA by some. Pretty disgusting because this man obviously clearly needs some time just to evaluate the way he plays and how he's going. He's only 20 years old, and if that takes another year or two, the Portland Trail Blazers are going to be here for it. And that's what I love about this team right now, is they are committed to this rebuild. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if Brogdon is moved on. Jeremy Grant maybe gets moved on, but still, I low-key kind of like him for this team. Then other than that, there's not too many other players I think they will truly move on from. Maybe Robert Williams, but, you know, they'd like some more experienced guys on this team, and I guess that's kind of why DeAndre Ayton is pretty serviceable so far for this Portland Trail Blazers team. A man who should be heading into his prime another year. Again, he explained why he had issues with Portland this year and why he didn't play the best. I have some hope that DeAndre Ayton can turn to a good player and, again, obviously a lot better. And look, over a year or two, this team could definitely really develop. You've got pieces here if they do decide to take a guy like Cody Williams. And yeah, he will develop alongside Scoot. They also have a ton of shooting, I believe, that's gone underrated on this Trailblazers team in Jeremy Grant, of course, being the big one, with a couple guards like Simons here and there as well, and Sharp. A player like, you know, Ron Holland, who might not necessarily be, Cody Williams, sorry, might not necessarily be the greatest shooter straight away, but he's a terrific defender, can come in and do his thing. Yeah, it makes sense by the Portland Trailblazers to, of course, look at a guy like him, and that's why, of course, I do have him going with the 7th overall pick. Now, moving on to the 14th overall pick, we have the Portland Trailblazers, who, again, I previously had them taking Cody Williams with the 7th overall pick, who I think matches their team a lot. Again, I don't necessarily know if they fully need another guard, but considering a lot of the other good players around this pick are ranked as guards, I kind of had to take one here. And again, there's room to shuffle. They might move some players on that are guards later on anyway. But the best available by far here is Ja'Kobe Walter. And I figured, look, I know, as I said, Portland have a lot of good young guards, but I don't know if you can pass up on this guy being a 6'5" wing, who's one of the best, I think, in this draft so far. It's being said he's a super dynamic three-point shooter, one of the best movement shooters in this whole entire draft. Excellent at pulling up from threes on the catch and shoot and off dribble. He's a much better shot creator than what a lot of people give him credit for. Excellent motor, super competitive on both sides of the court, and he's a solid point of attack defender, right? I've seen some people compare this man a bit to Kevin Huerter and, of course, KCP. And for those of you who've been watching the channel for a long time, you know how much I love KCP. I think KCP is arguably the most underrated player nearly in the league. And I'm seeing all these role players getting like $20 to $25 million per season now. Like Duncan Robinson getting $19 million, right? Max Strus getting $17 million. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, KCP, in my opinion, is a lot better than both of these players. He's a two-time championship starting wing for a reason, who literally averages 11 points per game. One of the best defenders in the whole entire league on over 40% from three nearly every single type of year. If you can get a dude like Ja'Kobe Walter, who is going to maybe be something like that, then my God, you've got something pretty coming along in, of course, Portland, right? If you can maybe make that happen, and you've got like a trio of course, you know, Shaedon Sharpe at your 2, Scoot Henderson at the 1, and then Ja'Kobe Walter at the 3, the athleticism and defense that one day could be is absolutely beautiful. I still have a lot of hope that Scoot Henderson and Shaedon Sharpe are going to develop into being very good defenders in this league, as, again, they're extremely athletic. And having an athletic trio like this, who, again, they shoot the three ball pretty good. Scoot Henderson's got some work to do. But I just think this makes a ton of sense for Portland down, you know, the road, right? Again, it's going to take a ton of time to develop. I think Scoot Henderson might need another season or two before we really start to see what this man can truly accomplish in the NBA. He might prove me wrong, though. As I've mentioned earlier, Darius Garland, in his first season of being in the NBA, was rated like the second worst player in the whole entire league. By season 4, he was a top 10 point guard, nearly a top 5, literal all-star, and again, even played a terrific season with Donovan Mitchell. This most recent season, not too much, but if he does get traded to Pelicans or whatever happens there, I can guarantee he'll go back to all-star form most likely. Scoot Henderson will take some time, but having a dude like a Ja'Kobe Walter to put alongside Scoot Henderson, a guy he can play make too, a really good shooter who's going to put up some really good defense as well, makes a ton of sense. I also like Kevin Huerter because I think Kevin Huerter's gone underrated for a long time as like an off-ball type of mover. Again, it's one thing to be a good shooter, but you got to be a guy who can move around screens. You got to be a guy who can move on off the ball, right? And get open. Find yourself open. And this is what a guy like Ja'Kobe Walter, I think, can do, being compared to a man like Kevin Huerter. There's some other comparisons here too. Desmond Bane kind of being like the ceiling of a man who maybe could average like 22 points per game one day as a really good shot creator, really good shooter, and a decent defender as well. I guess that's what you're kind of hoping for Ja'Kobe Walter. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. There's a lot to go into this.
Again, I know that the Portland Trailblazers have a lot of guards. It's still like, well, they've got Anthony Simons there. What do they do with Anthony Simons? Do they keep him because he's arguably their best player? Or do you shop him off for some picks and really build around Scoot Henderson, really build around Shaedon Sharpe, and maybe a guy like Jacoby Walter? What do you do? Again, there's a ton of different things they can do here. They might not take Walter because they've already got a ton of guards. But at the end of the day, as I said, by far at this pick, he's the best available, right? And if you're looking just for development, sometimes you just say screw it and you just take the best guy available, because even though he might not be positional for your team, you never know what can happen in 2 years and who might get traded, who might leave, like all these different type of things. Not saying anyone would leave this Portland team, but you guys know what I mean, right? So there's a ton of different things going on with this, and that's why I have the Portland Trailblazers selecting Jacoby Walter with the 14th overall pick. But of course, I'd very much like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions on this down below. What do you guys think of my official 2024 NBA mock draft? Did you guys like it? Did you agree with all my picks or did you not? I'd like to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section down below. Again, subscribe to the channel for less NBA content, NBA news. Also, don't forget to go and check out my gaming channel, my IRL/vlogging channel. I don't feel like none of you guys, or enough of you guys I should say, even know that exists. So go check them out. They're also going to be linked in the description down below. But as I was saying, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.